Alright, we're doing things a little bit differently this time. Normally, the recipes on this channel are inspired by seeing a tasty looking something in anime. Normally. But this time, we're just doing a classic Japanese dish. I recently went to a Japanese restaurant where I got to try chicken katsu for my first time, and I fell in love with this incredibly simple dish. With how easy it is to prepare and how tasty it is, I wanted to take my own crack at a chicken katsu recipe. And I encourage even those who have less confidence in their cooking to try this recipe out, as it really is quite very simple. So, with the intro out of the way, let's make some chicken katsu, as seen in that restaurant I went to? Okay, it had to have been featured in something. I don't need a Future Diary to know. Oh, okay, so it sounds like this picture is from Future Diary, and that's as much research on that I'm gonna do. So let's make some chicken katsu, as seen in... Let's make some tonkatsu, as seen in Future Diary, probably. It's the same process, it's just that a different animal died to make it. On screen, I have a list of all the ingredients that you're going to need. This recipe is very simple and straightforward, and will consist just of mixing our sauce and frying our pork. To start off, grab a bowl to mix all of our sauce ingredients into, and measure out your 1/2 cup of ketchup. Then, grate your ginger. We're looking for about 1 teaspoon. Mince up your 1 garlic clove. Then add in 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. You don't need to use double fermented, I just refuse to buy anything else at this point. Now, your 1 tablespoon of mirin, 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire. I'm not gonna try anymore. And finally, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. Mix all that up nice and good, and then put it off to the side while we move on to getting our meat ready. Ideally, you want to be using pork loin for this. And we want our pieces to be decently flat, so if you have a meat mallet, break it out and go to town. Fortunately, I found some prepackaged ones that were flat enough, and I'm lazy, so I just took what I got. We're doing just a very simple, nothing fancy egg wash for our frying. So get all of your stations together, flour, egg, and panko, and have them ready to go. Take your piece of pork and give it a smattering of salt and pepper on each side for a little bit of seasoning. Then, coat it in your flour, then your egg, making sure that it's all getting covered, and then move it onto your panko. Do that for however much meat it is that you're making. In the meantime, you can have your oil heating up. I had mine set to a little bit above medium. Probably would have been more helpful to give an actual temperature, but once your oil is heated up, drop in a piece of your pork. Mine went for about 4 to 5 minutes, flipping it over halfway, but we're mainly just looking for that nice, dark, crispy brown color on the outside. And I guess for the meat inside to ideally be cooked through. Once it's done, cut it up into strips that'll be easier to pick up with chopsticks. Traditionally, it should be served along a bed of rice and shredded cabbage, but I don't really do cabbage, so there we go. You can either serve the sauce in its own dish, or do like me and just layer it onto your meat. And there you have a relatively painless, but staple, Japanese dish, tonkatsu, as probably, maybe, seen in Future Diary, I guess. Further research is still needed. And how does it taste? The meat is crunchy on the outside, but still incredibly juicy on the inside. And the sauce gives it a tiny bit of spice with a nice little sweet tang. And the sauce, if stored airtight, should also last a few weeks, so you can feel free to spice up whatever you want with what's left. A big thank you to Chi Hayes, as well as my other Patreon supporters. Let me know if you plan on giving this one a shot, and be sure to report back and tell me how it goes. It's not at all a difficult recipe, and that sauce could work for many things. Also, be sure to visit my Patreon, link below, if you'd like to help support me and continue making new recipes and content. Until next time, I'm TJ Pecor, the Angry Avocado, and I still don't have a sign-off.